Hello, everyone. Thanks again for coming back to our live classes after vacations and after a few days Eid holidays. Hopefully, you had good moments with your family, with your friends, and you celebrated the Eid very well. Okay, as we promised earlier about our program, today we are gonna study some grammar, and then tomorrow also we will have grammar and general information. And at the end of this week, we might have the test of this book, like junior one. And if you have any question, you can ask me today and tomorrow and the day after tomorrow probably. And you will be asked about all parts of our book, like it has grammar sections, general information, vocabulary, and story. So you will be ready for the test with having information about all the sections of our book. Okay. Let's start our class from interrogative sentences. The last day that we had our class, we studied interrogative sentences and its kinds. And one of the most important part of our interrogative sentence was tag question. We studied tag question and its kinds, the structures, and different formula for that. Today, we're gonna start also the interrogative sentences, but the new one. And today we are gonna study the included questions. Okay, you studied 3 other questions: tag question, reinforcement tag question, and double-edged questions. Okay, but today we are gonna study included questions, or the other name of that is into question. Okay. So included question or into question is like combination of 2 questions. So you ask 2 questions, but both of them at the same sentence. Here we use some specific rules for using included questions. You might use it like all the time probably, but some students make mistakes while making included questions. Do you know how you can make included question? Okay, so, or you can say, can you tell me what your name is? Okay, so here's one example. Can you tell me? It is first question. What is his name? The second question. But when you want to use included question, here is the time to combine these 2 questions together in one sentence. Look at the other one. Can you tell me what his name is? Okay, so now what is the rules for making included question? Just 2 simple rules. First, question is not removed or changed. The first part of question or first question remains at the same formula that it should be, okay? Like interrogative sentences. Like, can you tell me, do you know? Like something like this questions, okay? But the second question is changed to affirmative or positive, okay? Look at these examples here again. Can you tell me what is his name? It is 2 questions, but look at the included question here. Can you tell me what his name is? So what his name is it interrogative formula? No, it is affirmative or positive formula. What his name is, subject is before the verb, so we know that there is affirmative or positive formula. So whenever you are going to make included question, you have to change the second question to positive formula. Okay? So there is more structures and rules about that. So whenever you want to make included question or entry question, you can start your sentence with do or does or did or will or should or can, any kind of auxiliary verb like that. Okay, and then you use subject, and then you use your verb, then your complement. So it is first part of sentence, it is technically interrogative formula. But the second section, WH words plus subject plus verb plus complement. So here we use subject plus verb. Okay? Like this example. Could you tell me where do you live? So it is two different questions, but you join both of them in the same question here. Could you tell me where you live? Where you live. So no need to use another helping verb here to make it interrogative. You use affirmative formula, where you live. You live is positive formula, okay? So you just put the interrogative sentence in the first section, and then the second sentence, the second question should be positive formula. Another example, will you say, what is your name? So the included question of these two is, will you say what your name is? So is changed to, the is location is changed to the end. So what is your name is changed to what your name is. Positive formula. Do you remember what did I tell you? Do you remember what I told you? So what did I tell you? That is negative formula, no, interrogative formula of past simple tense. But when you want to make a positive formula or positive sentence in interrogatives in simple past tense, so you use second form of verb. Instead of did I tell, you say I told. Okay? You change the negative sentence to positive sentence. The interrogative sentence to positive sentence. I'm sorry. So what did I tell you is changed what I told you. Okay, now you have 1 minute for that, and give me one example for included question right in the chat box and send it to me now. Okay, so we have some examples. Do you know where Ahmad's office is? That's good example. Do you remember what she was wearing? That's also perfect examples. Okay. So I need more examples from other guys also. Do you find what I told you? What do you mean with faint? So the question mark should be at the end of sentence. You can say, do you remember what I told you? Not that, okay? Do you remember what I told you? Okay. You can say also, do you find what I told you? Yeah, the question mark should go at the end of sentence, and then the second sentence is okay. It should be positive formula, the same thing like that. Thank you. Who else is here in our class today? So Lali and Mr. Alisha, you didn't send your examples yet, but I want to see your examples as fast as possible so we can go to the next section. So please send me your examples or any message you want to send as fast as possible, okay? Thank you. Okay, now is the time to study another kind of questions. It is indirect questions, okay? So indirect questions is another kind of question that you might use it daily. So remember, while you want to use indirect questions, there is the story of three people, okay? So one person, second person, and third person. So usually we use indirect questions when the first person asks a question about the third person from the second person, okay? So the first person and the third person they all don't speak at the same language. So first person asks the question from second one about the third one, okay? So in these situations, you need to use indirect questions, okay? For example, I and Ahmad speak English language, but Ali doesn't speak English. I have some question from Ali, but because we don't speak at the same language with Ali, so I can't ask directly from Ali. So I ask question about Ali from Ahmad. Okay? So in this situation, you need to know how to use indirect questions. Okay? So now let's get back to our book, our slides, and then we will see it's easy. You can make this kind of question very, very easy. Just focus, okay? How to use this kind of questions. So, indirect questions. So there is some important points about that you have to remember. The first, it is used when you are asking someone a question indirectly. So you are not asking directly from someone like, what is your name? Okay? You are asking indirectly. The second one, it is divided into two parts. So still we have two kinds of or two part in this kind of questions. The third point is we have direct way and indirect way. Direct way is used when speaker and listener both know language of one another. Indirect way is used when a speaker and listener both do not speak at the same language or accurate something else or accurate something else, okay? So I want to explain something else once again. So I told you that we use indirect question to ask about the third person. Okay, so we have two types of indirect questions. Okay, the first one, when the first person asks question from the second person, and then the second type of this question is when the second person asks the question of first person from the third person. Okay, so I want to ask a question about Frishta from Nafsa. Okay, so I ask from Nafisa about Frishta. So I ask direct question from Nafsa and Frishta, and Nafsa ask indirect question from Frishta. This is like a little bit confusing, but we will give you more example and everything will be clear. Okay? So we have two types of, remember that we have two types of indirect question, direct way and indirect way. So the first one is direct way. When you want to make when you want to ask an indirect question in direct way. So remember, when you use that, always the question start with ask. Okay, it asks by ask. Number two, direct questions should be changed into affirmative mode. So we can't use interrogative mode in our sentences when you ask indirect question. It should be like include question in positive formula or affirmative formula. Number three, do, does, and did are removed. If we have in our sentence do, does, did for asking question, we are not gonna use them in indirect question. They should be removed and changed into if or whether. If or whether are replaced instead of do, does, and did. The fourth point, if there are WH words, if or whether is not used. So I told you that if you have in a sentence do, does, did, or helping verb, so don't use them. Just use if or whether instead of them. If means agar, whether means oya. Okay. Number four, if there are WH words, if or whether is not used. So if you have WH word in our sentence, no need for anything else. Okay, you can use WH word. Number five, here one person says to second person to ask third person this or that. First person ask, or the first person says to second person to ask the third person this or that. So he says to second person to ask third person this or that. The another important point is this, that object and subject should be at the same person. Look at this example here. Where do you live? It is a direct question. So when we change it to indirect question, we say, ask him where he lives. So first person says to second person to ask the third person. He says to this one, okay, ask him where he lives. Okay, so here in this sentence, we use positive formula. He lives where he lives. Ask him where he lives. It is indirect question. There's more examples here. Look at that. Ask him what he has done. Ask him what he has done. So you can use ask plus object plus WH word plus subject plus verb. So I want to give you more details here. So the first rule was this, that it was asked by ask. So look at here, it is started by ask. Okay? Number two, direct questions should be changed into affirmative mode. Direct question should be changed to affirmative mode. Ask him what he has done. Look at here, what he has done. He has done. It is affirmative mode. So if you want to ask in interrogative mode, we should say, what has he done? But because it is affirmative mode, we say what he has done. So Helping verb is after subject. Number 3, do, does, and did are removed. Okay, so in second formula here you can see that. So look at this. Ask him if he speaks English. So it's just like this. Ask him, does he speak English? So does is removed, and instead of that we use what? If or whether. Number 4, if there are WH words, if or whether is not used. So like the first sentence is here. Ask him what his name is. Ask her where she lives. So hopefully you got it. And make me example if you understand that. And if you have any problem still, let me know. I will explain that. Okay, you have 1 minute for that. Give me one example with WH word and one example with if or whether. Okay, thanks guys. So I explained everything, but then I noticed that it is on mute there. Anyway, so Hanifa, Nafisa, you were I wanna okay. Um Now, if I ask him what his nationality is, perfect example. And if I ask him when he came from Afghanistan, that's also a good example. Ask him where he works. So where should be with WH, okay? Ask him where he works, also perfect example. Ask them, they can be with us. So here, Lali, you need to use if, okay? Ask them if they can be with us. Okay, then you have to use full stop at the end of sentence. Okay, good example. Then a final example, ask him to do his homework. That's not indirect questions. Okay, that is order. Um, the other example, Frishta, ask her when she came last night. Ask her when she came last night. That's also a perfect example. So as here it is mentioned that the subject and object should be the same person. Okay. Ask him if he speaks English. Ask her if she writes a letter for me. Okay, so now give me example with if or whether. You did a good job with WH word, and now give me example with if and whether. Okay, I was waiting for your examples. Send me your example in Telegram also, so we will study the rest of our grammars tomorrow. And thanks for watching this video. We'll see you tomorrow. Okay, if you have any question, also ask me uh, in chat box. So remember guys, that's good example, Lali. Remember that we might not finish our class tomorrow probably, but we will have a 1 day for practicing or exercising, or if you have any question. So tomorrow also we'll study grammar, but you have to do other activity, make example for all these questions types that we have studied, and also read the general information. Uh, yeah, read the general information about the benefits of drinking tea, and then summarize that information, write it, and submit it tomorrow. Okay, we will work on that also. You have 2 activities till tomorrow that you have to do. The first thing is this: make examples, 5 examples for each type of interrogative sentences. The second one is this: that read the benefits of drinking tea. It is in your chapter, and then summarize it, write it, and submit it before our class tomorrow. Okay, thanks guys for watching this video and participation. See you guys tomorrow with new activities and new class.